he's talking to the people, and he says, you know, a lot of your shepherds are here, and the common people listen to him gladly. And he says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. What does it mean to be the good shepherd?
Well, then of course he contrasts the good shepherd with a bad shepherd, because he said that a bad shepherd sees the wolves coming and runs, but the good shepherd stays with the sheep. But John, I want to pick up on something else in that passage. And Jesus also says, I am the door. The one who goes through me will find pasture. He's still using the same imagery.
Yes.
Well, you know that there are people today who are looking for some hope. They look around them and they don't see any hope. But even worse than that, they look within themselves and they don't see much hope. There are people who are struggling with guilt and regret and depression, and they're saying there is no hope. Jesus said, if you come to me and through me, you will find pasture. That's exactly what sheep want, of course, is a place to graze. So figuratively speaking, when we come to Jesus, our spiritual needs are met. And that's why he is so critical and so important.
Yeah. I've heard from people in Africa, people from India, people from actually even Iran have sent me letters and have been very kind, but they've always asked this question, who is Jesus? It's the most asked question that we get in 200 different nations. They want to know who Jesus is. Now, there's 4,000 languages that don't even have a Bible. So we're working to provide that. But here's one for all of those folks that are wondering who Jesus is. He said, Erwin, I am the way, the truth, and the life, in John 14:6. You've got a great illustration for this, but what did Jesus mean when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life?
Remarkably, Jesus again is emphasizing that he is the only way to the Father. That's what the rest of the verse says. No man comes to the Father but by me. Now, John, you and I know what it's like to be lost in a city that we've never been to before.
Right.
And we roll down the window of the car and we ask, where are we? And somebody says, I'm new here too. I can't help you. What we want is a reliable guide. And what Jesus said is, when you follow me through the desert of life, I am the way. I am the truth. We emphasized that in the last program about the fact that Jesus actually embodies the truth. And he is the end for our search for truth. There are people who are listening today, John, who are on their spiritual journey. In fact, everybody's on a spiritual journey. And they wonder whether or not that journey will ever end. Well, when we find Christ, we finally find what our soul desires, something we can depend upon, something that is able to forgive us, to give us hope. And so Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Now, physically, he's the life because he actually is the creator also of all life. But spiritually, to think that he is going to take us to the Father and we will be with him forever. Maybe I can summarize it this way. Someone has said, without that way, there is no going. Without that truth, there is no knowing. And without that life, there is no living. So Jesus embodies all of that, and an astounding claim.
Yep.
There's no dictator in history who would have had the nerve to say what Jesus said, and Jesus said it because he had the credentials.